Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm a Central Texas gardener in Zone 8B, and in today's video, I'm going to share my June garden with you. I'm also really excited to show you some new plant additions. All right, so I have got all these sunflowers that kind of were volunteers really, and this one got pretty tall. You can see I've had to sort of support them. We've had a lot of storms and rain, and they have made it, but they definitely like to lean towards the sun, and so I've used this as like a Velcro support that I just kind of cut to size. I'll be sure to link that product in the description box in case you might be interested. As we go down here are my mealy blue sages, and they definitely filled out so much nicer after I gave them a nice prune back. And here it's so funny because you can kind of see where the base of that one sunflower is, and he's like, and I'm gonna take your sun here. So it's just like growing almost in the middle of that mealy blue sage. Coming along here, this is all beebalm, all of that purple, and it is always pretty active with bees and other pollinators. And this, I did intentionally throw some seed down, but it really kind of took over. So I think I had a lot of migration of those seeds, and so I've got a couple of pockets of it here. A lot of it did take a hit with the hail and the storms, but you can kind of see that it's trying to grow back. So maybe all that area here will fill back in, and so it won't look quite as leggy. And I thought my larkspur was done, but it's still going pretty strong here. A lot of the flowers have gone to seed, and so I made sure to harvest that. I did lose a few flower stalks on my coneflower, my purple coneflower here, but it came back, so it survived our hailstorm. And then along here is just a dill plant, but I just thought the flowers are just so delicate and kind of airy and real pretty. I did have a swallowtail caterpillar on here not too long ago, but I think it got eaten. Coming along here is the pink skullcap. This is a native of Mexico, but well adapted to our area. And I've got a couple more here that are a little smaller now. These were all put in at the same time. That one just has done better than these other, but I think they'll eventually catch up. And I wanted to compare that with my wright skullcap, which is our Texas native. So you can see it's got a purple instead of a pink flower. And these really were probably twice the size, but I had to cut them back after they got pretty beat up by the hail. But they are starting to slowly make a bit of a comeback here. Here is some volunteer coreopsis. So these yellow and red flowers you see, I had like one coreopsis plant and it scattered seed everywhere. And so it looks pretty rough because it's been like tattered and wind blown everywhere, but it's hanging in there and the pollinators really like it. So I'm gonna just let it ride. Here's that whale's tongue agave, also looking pretty battered and bruised, but still doing well. This is one of my new additions. This is an American beautyberry, and this is a shadier spot. It's right up against this wall, so it's kind of the north side of this wall, and so these really like a lot of shade, and they end up having these really pretty purple berries. You can kind of see them. I don't know if they're already forming, or I think those are all just still flower buds, but it's really cool, and they're edible. Here is my Bellini crepe myrtle, and it is getting ready to flower, and it is just the prettiest raspberry pink red color, and this is a dwarf crepe myrtle, and so it stays about 3 by 3 feet. And then I did move my zexmenia. I had it kind of over there with the skullcap, a little bit more recessed by closer to where that beautyberry is, but it just really wasn't going to be enough room, so I transplanted it here. And for reference, this is a mature zexmenia, and so this is also kind of taking a bit of a hit from the the hail storms that we've had, but it's pretty big. It's about 3 by 3 feet right now, and it just has these really cheerful yellow flowers here. So let me come up along this way. Here is the a Mexican hat, and this is also a very fun plant. I guess, you know, I like yellow, but I guess I like it a lot because I've got the sunflowers there, and I've got this here, and then I've got lots of zexmenia growing. And so I guess my color inspiration is this Talavera pottery. This is kind of typical of Mexican pottery with just all these different colors. And so I don't know, maybe I'm trying to slowly turn my garden into this because it just makes me so happy to see all these colors. Here is another recent addition. This is an African bulbine, so not native to our area, but does very well in the heat. And then here is Texas lantana, and so can get pretty large. And this one, I've got several lantana, and this one really seems to be doing the best out of them, the ones that I planted around the same time. And it's just sitting underneath this little gem magnolia, which, you know, magnolias are evergreen and they flower. This one is a little bit smaller than the standard magnolia, so it may get up to 30 feet, but possibly could stay a lot shorter. Here is that red yucca, and it's held up despite all the storms. And then here I've got a little bit of a crossvine that's just flowering a little bit for me again. The majority of this was just full of blooms in April, but it'll sporadically bloom throughout the summer as well. All right, so here I have a Maximilian sunflower, and this is a perennial sunflower, and I put this in actually a couple of years ago, and I think it just never really took off, but this is its first year really blooming. But it's had a hard start with a lot of the rain and then the storms. But this will come back year after year. And then let me kind of scooch back so you can see the Texas redbuds. So very beautiful in the spring, beautiful purple flowers. These are more ornamental trees, as I understand it. I don't know. I've heard that these forest pansies that's what this one is, can get pretty big. But this has a more burgundy color to it. And then the Texas redbud is just more of that shades of green, lots of chartreuse with the new leaves coming in. Both of them, you can see a lot of damaged leaves because of all that hail, and I haven't really been able to clean it up. I will tell you, this Texas redbud, I think, fares a lot better in our sun than this forest pansy. You can already see, again, I think a lot of the damage is mostly from the hail, but it definitely doesn't look as vibrant and happy as this one here. But it always makes it through, and it puts on a really pretty show in the spring. And it's kind of got more of an airy, open canopy, the forest pansy does, compared to the Texas redbud. Coming along here, and you're gonna have to excuse all these weeds because it's been like a lot of rain, and so they are happy. This is a Nolina here, and so it's kind of like a yucca, I guess, in growth habit, and it's just finished flowering. And then I've got these, I think this is like a mirage variety of autumn sage. These are a little bit smaller, but they have this really beautiful purple coloring to them, and tend to, as far as I've seen, these tend to be evergreen. Here's another mealy blue sage, and I mean, I cut these back heavy back here because they were really overtaking everything, and they're already coming back quite a bit. And then you can see here I've got more autumn sage kind of surrounding the base of this tree, and this is a gaura that I cut back just to cut the blooms down a little bit. It was real leggy, and so it's starting to put on more flower spikes and things. Kind of see that here. Sorry, I don't get it to focus here. And then here is Mexican mint marigold, and it's primarily a fall bloomer, but look at the structure of those leaves. I just love how they're just kind of neatly stacked on each other. I've got 3 plants here, and you see I did have one bloom a bit for me earlier. So it kind of has these like little yellow daisy-like blooms, but primarily these will bloom in the fall. This is a skeleton leaf goldeneye, and this doesn't look like much. I just put it in not too long ago, but it can really fill in a space. As I understand, like 3 by 4 feet in height and spread, and so it's getting established this year, so I probably won't see much till next year. And then here is that mealy blue sage, and I've got a lot of these because they really do well even in our Texas heat, but out of all of the ones I have, this one has just really, he always is so much bigger than the other ones. And so I cut this back to the point where there's a cat, what is this called? Catmint. It had plenty of room, and it just grew back right over it. So it's kind of claiming that spot. Looking here, this is just a regular old mum that I put in the ground, and it's happy in that spot. So I've got a couple of those. Here's another one of those catmints, and this is I think called cat's pajamas, so it's a really low growing variety. And then here is my Turk's cap. I had a couple other in a more shadier spot, and they didn't do well, but this one is doing very well, and you can see how pretty that flower is. And the hummingbirds like it, and the bees really like it, and I love when I come out here and there's like a little tiny bee behind sticking out of here with its legs out, because they're getting that nectar all the way there in the middle. And this will actually fruit for you, and then you can eat the fruit. All right, so coming along this side, this is a new area that I recently dug up and installed a bunch of plants in, and it's kind of sort of struggling with all the rain we've had, and not all of my plants are doing as well as I'd like. I will say the cedar sage has done very well, and I recently had to trim it back. It was blooming a lot, but these like a little bit more shade. All right, here's another new addition. This is a pineapple guava, and this will get 15 by 15 feet. And you can prune it into a small tree, but it's primarily kind of more of a shrubby growth habit. I probably will try to prune it more into a small tree, but it has these beautiful flowers, and it is an evergreen. And then you can kind of see some of the other plants that I've installed. Here's my I think this is an agastache tutti frutti. I had to protect it because my dog kept tearing it up. And then here is another goldeneye. I think this is a plateau goldeneye. And then here I've got some zinnias coming in here that I just threw some seed down. And I've got a couple of different types of salvia, and they're looking kind of sad here. And you know, I don't know if it's the rain or what it is, but probably some of that hail damage. But I'm just slowly kind of trimming them back, and remembering that a lot of these perennials kind of follow a crawl, walk, run. So this being their first season, I don't expect that they're gonna reach their full size potential, but maybe next season they will. Here's that tree I transplanted from the side of my house. It didn't really make it. My husband has high hopes that the base of this will remain alive, and that he can kind of pull that up in the fall and turn it into a bonsai. So we'll see what happens. But here in the fall, I will plant some more Spartan junipers, so I kind of follow this hedge here. So I'll have a hedge all the way along that fence line. And then coming along this side, all that bright yellow is from sunshine ligustrum. I know ligustrum have a bad rep, but this is sterile, so non-invasive. And then in between those sunshine ligustrum are just some pyramidal boxwoods. I do have a Japanese maple here. This is a Emperor 1. And then here I have some inland sea oats. And so they are just now putting on those, let me see if I can grab that, those seed heads here. So that's really fun and pretty. I think this, well, and I believe they like a shadier spot. So apparently it's happy there. And then here I have a blue chalk stick, and he survived all the rain. When I did pull him in before it started hailing, so it didn't get too much damage. Down at the base here, you'll see like these little guys. I've got some dwarf ruellia here, and so you can see the flowers. They're really pretty. They only last like a day, but this is the dwarf variety of a Mexican petunia, and they aren't quite as invasive, I think, as the larger variety, and so these will stay pretty small. Got another one there, and then a couple rounding. So I want to show you my garden pad, and it kind of makes me sad because you can see all that. This is a greenhouse I had to tear down. If you watched my last video, you'll see that it was just really it just got hit too heavy in that hailstorm. But I just wanted to say, if you sustained any damage to your garden in these recent storms, just know you're not alone. And not that any one of us want another gardener to struggle, but sometimes it feels like you're the only one. And so this doesn't look like I'd like it to look, but maybe it's an opportunity for some transition and to try some new things. And so I already have another smaller, like a hoop house that I plan on putting there. And I've got some ideas for this area, but it doesn't look that great right now. Got all this debris, and then I've got all this brush, but it's an opportunity, and so that's how I'm trying to see it. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and until the next one, y'all take care.